Alright, this is John Kohler with OKRod.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. We're here at the 2013 Woodstock Fruit Festival having a blast with nearly 600 other fruity participants and attendees. And there's about 20 different pioneers that teach the raw food message to all the attendees. Luckily, I was fortunate enough to be able to interview 12 of them today for you guys to share their views on 12 ways to avoid the pitfalls on the raw foods diet. Let's get into that clip. Now we're with Freely the Banana Girl. You can check her out on YouTube at Freely the Banana Girl. She's been into raw foods for 7 years now.
One way to avoid pitfalls is to count your calories to make sure that you're having enough calories. Okay, a lot of people come to the raw food lifestyle and they're newbies and they listen to their bodies and their bodies tells them to go and binge out and eat McDonald's and Kit Kats and whatever. Okay, so if you're counting your calories, if you're getting enough calories, then that's going to ensure that you can stay on track. And that's definitely important. You want to stay on track long term, so getting enough glucose to your cells and to your brain is ultra important. So as a newbie, count your calories.
So now we're with Don Bennett, DAS. That stands for Disease Avoidance Specialist. And his website is health101.org. You want to check it out for sure. He's been on a raw, fruit-based diet for 20 plus years now. I definitely look up to Don. He knows a lot, really wise.
One way to avoid pitfalls is to, when you're on your learning journey and you're learning all this and unlearning a lot of other stuff, don't be a student. Don't do this as a student. Be a researcher. Whatever information comes in, it doesn't matter if you're enrolled in a program or you're within a group or whatever, be a researcher. Researchers just naturally research the information and question everything that comes in and verify it someplace else. Because, you know, hey, we're all human. We all have our own prejudices and biases and personal philosophies and things like that. And sometimes they can get in the way of people, you know, recognizing what's actually correct. I'll just phrase it that way, John. So whatever comes in, be a researcher and not a student, and that way you can avoid the pitfalls. And by the way, if you come across conflicting, contradictory information, don't go, oh no, I don't want to hear this. Be glad. Be glad, because what if you're following a little bit of incorrect information, and this conflicting information, that's the correct information. So you want to hear it. Even if that's the incorrect and you've been following the correct, you still want to hear it because you want to know what it is so you can help others.
So we're here with Tim Van Orden. His website is runningraw.com. Be sure to check him out. He's been into raw foods for the last 9 years.
Ooh, pitfalls. Preparation. You're not always going to find the foods that you need out in the world, so bring them with you. For instance, when I'm traveling, I know that if I'm going to stop to get gas somewhere and I go into the 7-Eleven or whatever it is, they're not going to have what I eat. So I got to bring it with me. So it takes a little bit of time to prepare the food, but it saves you so much time later on. You save money, and it allows you to stay on the diet. But people that think that they can just go out into the world without having prepared in advance, they're going to run into some serious pitfalls. You go to somebody's house, I always bring a salad dressing. They say, oh, we'll make a salad. Great. Put the dressing on the side. Thank you very much. I bring my own dressing. So wherever I go, any kind of social situation or traveling, I always have my stuff with me so that I can keep it the way I like it. And you know, it also makes it interesting for people because when you do interact with them, they ask you questions. What's that? What's this? Why are you doing that? Do you like it? Can I taste it?
Now we're here with Dr. Samuel Milkarski. It's drsampt.com. He's been into raw foods for 15 years.
The best way to avoid pitfalls on a raw food diet is to not be overly dogmatic and to always trust your body and give it what it needs.
So now we're here with Christina Carrillo Bucaram. Her website is fullyraw.com. She's been eating all raw for over 8 years now.
The number one way to avoid pitfalls is to plan your meals before time. I cannot stress this enough. I mean, yes, you can make sure that you're eating enough fruit during the day. You can make sure that you always have food with you, but all of that is a part of planning. You either plan to prepare or prepare to fail. I cannot stress this enough. When I first got started eating raw, I would literally sit down and I would write down in a calendar what my meals would look like. That way it took out the guessing game. You know, because if you don't do that, then the next day you either A, don't have the food ready to go, B, you don't know what to decide to eat, which leaves, you know, room for questioning. Well, should I eat that? Should I not eat this? And you may end up making a decision that you don't really want to make. And B, if you're not properly prepared or planned, then, I mean, who knows how it could go. But when you have in your mind set what you're going to do, it goes that much easier, and you can truly succeed with 10 times more ease. So definitely plan ahead and prepare to plan your meals.
So now we're here with Dr. Robert Lockhart. His website is sunfoodhealthretreat.com. He's been into raw foods for the last 25 years now.
The main way to avoid pitfalls is to listen to yourself. Don't listen to conflicting people that you may regard as being necessarily, especially schooled in knowledge. You've got to listen to your own body often. And if your own body is, for example, saying, I'm not particularly thirsty, and yet some people have been telling me to drink 8 glasses of water a day, shall I do that or shall I not do that? Well, listen to your own body. It's going to tell you more than anyone else whether you are thirsty or hungry. Now, if you're feeling hunger and it's true hunger, you'll know. If it's just 5 o'clock, right, I've got to eat, you know, listen to your own true body. If your body is not particularly hungry, then don't eat, because you're not really requiring the nutrition just at that particular point in time. So I think taking responsibility for your own health is the most important thing. And if you're being bombarded with surrounding well-meaning people, often friends, relatives, respected so-called experts in their particular field, telling you to do one thing, well, listen and question it often, you know. Listen to your own body, listen to nature. It's usually simple, and the simplest way is generally the best.
So now we're with Durian Rider. His website is 30bananasaday.com. He's been into raw foods now for 11 years.
Learn from the mistakes of other people. Learn from what's your goal? Is it weight loss? Okay, who's the skinny people? Is it fitness? Okay, who's the fit people? Is it overcoming drug addictions? Who's the people who are going clean? Whatever it is, what are your goals, and then try and seek that information for the people who have achieved those goals. Learn from their mistakes. The main pitfall, I'd say, would be people under-eating, not eating enough carbohydrate, calories from their favourite fruits, and then getting hungry and eating too much fat, or just going off the wagon altogether. That would be the main pitfall, but it depends on the person, depends what your goals are. Take advice from those who are getting the results you desire.
So now we're with Dr. Doug Graham. His website is food-sport.com. He's been into raw foods now for over 35 years.
I think there's 2 ways. One is to rise above the negative influence of the people who tell you this just isn't going to work. Maybe it isn't going to work for them. Maybe they're not ready. But if you're ready to start eating raw and stop listening to people who don't know, and start listening to the people who know, who've done it ahead of you, and follow behind them. The other pitfall, though, is if you start following many people at once. I don't really care who it is you choose to lead you and guide you. If that person is taking you where you want to go, keep following until you're ready to run on your own. But if you try to follow the teachings of 2 people, 3 people, 5 people all at once, all it ends up is you ended up being a multi-headed monster. You're going to split yourself apart. You're definitely going to fail, and it just don't work, because everyone is going to be sending you off in different directions. You can't go in all those different directions. So pick somebody to follow that you trust, somebody that's got experience, somebody that's got education, somebody that's enthusiastic, somebody that's willing to give of themselves to help you, and then follow them for as long as it takes until you're up and running, until you find yourself succeeding, or you've decided you're not getting where you're trying to go, you need to follow somebody else.
So now we're with Grant Campbell of RawAussieAthlete.com. Grant's been into raw foods for 8 years now.
One way to avoid pitfalls on a raw foods diet would be to just make sure you always have enough fresh fruits around you. So, because when you get hungry, you get vulnerable, you get less discerning, and things that habits you haven't quite kicked yet start looking very attractive.
So now we're here with Megan Elizabeth. You can check her out at meganelizabeth.com. She's been into raw foods for over 5 years now.
I think one of the best ways to avoid pitfalls in a raw food diet is to decide that you're not going to make any excuses, and also to plan ahead, and that kind of goes together. Planning ahead with your food, for traveling, and for your family, just making sure that you buy everything ahead of time. Even planning what you're going to eat the next day, if you are somebody that has a full-time job, is probably the best way that you can succeed on a raw food diet.
All right, so now we're here with Dan McDonald, the Life Regenerator. You want to check out his YouTube channel at Life Regenerator. Be sure to subscribe and check out some of his videos. He's been into raw foods now for the last 13 years.
Well, I got some sage advice recently, and you know, I don't think you should avoid the pitfalls.
Really?
Yeah, because I think it's the mistakes that we make when going down this. It's like, okay, for me, it's like, I'm gonna go 100% raw. I didn't even know what that was when I heard about it, but when I read about it in the Gospel of Peace, I was very inspired at the level of revelation. And I'm like, I am going to be 100% raw food dude. Now, it took me 12 and a half years to get there. And you can be rest assured I made a lot of mistakes. So what was the pitfall? For me, like eating like a half a pound of unsoaked almonds in a nut pate with vegetables and wondering why I was always so sluggish. But yet I don't do that anymore. So there was that pitfall. Now, could someone have taught me that? Soak your almonds, only use like 12 or 15 in your nut pate, and use vegetables, and don't eat too many nuts so you don't get acidic and your back doesn't start to hurt and you get headaches and you need colonics every day. Could someone have told me that? Potentially. I'm a step in it kind of guy. Like if I need to know when oh, that's poo-poo, it stinks, I need to wash it off, and I never forget. Some people don't. They can watch the video and say, you know, I'm not going to eat a half pound of unsoaked almonds. I'm going to soak my almonds, use less, and use more vegetables so that there's more alkaline water in there. So my point is that I think that we should be willing to make those mistakes. Of course, get the education. I think it's the education, then you have that reference point. Yeah. Now you've got the reference of, okay, don't eat a half a pound of unsoaked almonds, but on the day that you do, because you surely will, you will go, oh, my kidneys don't feel so good, my head hurts and I'm bogged down and my athletic performance just went down. And so then you'll go, wow, that what Dan said about the nuts. So get your information, but make those mistakes so that they're yours, so that they're your stepping stones. So enjoy the pitfalls as educational materials which will pound in that truth into you so that it can be your own and you can move on. And now it's like let's say, for example, today, after all these years ago, I couldn't just be on coconut water all day long and handling all this and doing all this. I would have needed more different food, but now the body's so clean, I can handle that energy coming through me, and I can just drink the coconuts. I probably drank 12 coconut waters and I'm good to go. I'm gonna go swimming. So, you know, you got to work I had to work my way up to that by making many, many mistakes and really working on this stuff, and just, I had to keep on. Like for me, it was 100% raw goal, and what it took for me to get there, and how to stay balanced using avocados, soaked nuts, fruits, juices, and finding what really works for you, your constitution, lifestyle, family life, religious beliefs, and all that stuff. So it really is a solo journey. But like I said, I've had many, many teachers, and I've compared my experiences with the knowledge they share, and then I make it my own, and I build that solid brick in the path to building myself into this successful raw foodist.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to some of the different pioneers of the Woodstock Fruit Festival on their one tip to avoid pitfalls on a raw foods diet. Now I'm going to share mine with you. I mean, I'm John Kohler, and I've been into raw foods for the last 18 years. My website isokraw.com. And what's one way to avoid pitfalls in the raw foods diet? You know, in my opinion, it's simply question everything. You know, anything anybody tells you, just question it and find out for yourself. Also, something very important to me is learn from your mistakes, and not only your mistakes, but the mistakes of others that went before you. You know, there's no point in reinventing the wheel when it's already been created. You just have to see how it's done and then do it yourself. So remember, question everything and learn from your mistakes so that you don't make them again. I think that's the best 2 ways to avoid pitfalls on the raw foods diet. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time. And remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best. All right, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. I'm very glad to be at the 2013 Woodstock Fruit Festival and to be interviewing another one of the pioneers